Welcome to the Greenway Outdoors podcast. The Greenway Outdoors is also an internationally syndicated TV show on Pursuit Channel and Wild TV. You are now tuned into our weekly podcast hosted by executive producer Kyle Green, production coordinator Jeff Hutchinson, director AJ Beadle, and creative producer Ryan Parks. We live in a world where our natural resources are almost solely protected by funds raised by hunters and fishermen, with over 60% of those funds coming from white males over the age of 55. The Greenway Outdoors team has set out on a mission to create content that would inspire millennials, Generation Z, and new sportsmen and women to get out, hunt, fish, and contribute towards conservation and the betterment of our planet. Welcome to the Greenway Outdoors. Sent. Hello and welcome to episode 35 of the Greenway Outdoors podcast. I am Kyle.
I'm Jeff.
I'm AJ.
I'm Ryan.
Jeff, story about your family member. Bigfoot. There's a couple of them running around this past week. I'm sorry. Boom, right out of the gate. Here we go.
You start with yours.
Don't you dare. So there's been Bigfoots all over the news. Jeff, your story was, backstory on this. We do research and we always come up with ideas and everyone kind of tosses ideas in the hat on what subjects we're going to cover. And obviously we kind of get off topic here and there, but we're always just kind of rolling with it.
Just occasionally.
Yeah, just fresh.
So sometimes I just won't communicate with anybody because I've been in back-to-back meetings for a bunch of different aspects of the company over the last few weeks. So I just put it together, sent it out, and gave no description of anything. And all I put on there was Bigfoot story. So Jeffrey, Jeffrey taking the initiative, I've got the story that I found, that I heard about. And Jeff comes in, he's like, yeah, can you believe it was possum meat in there? And I'm like, what on earth are you talking about? We are on different wavelengths of Bigfoot stories, but because of that, yours actually ended up being a heck of a lot cooler than mine.
So my story is there's two guys in California, and they decide that they're going to ruffle some feathers. They're going to get a Bigfoot costume and fill it with roadkill possum, slaughterhouse leftovers, and then put it on ice. They talk about it. They, promote it on like Facebook and everything. Ends up going viral. Gets huge.
Really?
And then they finally have to get to the point where they show it to somebody, and they finally take somebody and open up the freezer, and they're like, "We're sorry."
It's not real.
Why? Why did they do that?
One guy, I don't remember what he did.
It was Friday.
The other guy was a cop, and they let him go from the force.
Oh, really?
Over this, because they're like, well, it's public, and you lied to the public. So now, if anything else comes up later,
it's social media.
If your integrity is brought into question, then the force's integrity. Well, you lied about that. What if you lied about this?
Yeah,
so
at this point, he's just using the force. Star Wars, anyone?
What's that? Nice.
Oh, God. Ryan, shut up.
You didn't know what Bohemian Rhapsody was. You didn't know who Queen was or Freddie Mercury, so don't want to hear it.
I didn't. I like the pictures I chose for Bigfoot, though, for the B-roll. This is a good picture.
Is that Harry and the Hendersons?
Yeah.
I loved that movie as a kid.
You mean that documentary?
Yeah. The Bigfoot story I read is still pretty funny. So there's this couple, I believe it was a couple. They're in a tent, right? They're chilling out, and they're up in the mountains at a campsite. And all of a sudden, they notice, like, they're in bed. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning. And they see, I know, right? I was all over it. They see that I was complimenting myself for the picture showing a campsite, but good B-roll.
Great timing.
Yeah. So
I see it's green. See what you did there.
Subliminal.
Outdoors. So anyhow, they're in their tent like 1 o'clock in the morning. They notice because of the flickering of the fire, I would assume with the lights, they see a shadow of someone outside their tent. And they open up their tent, and there's a dude standing there, and he's like, just so you know, I'm in a campsite just up the road here. Something tore the hell out of my campsite, destroyed everything. I think I saw it. I believe it's a Bigfoot. We've been hearing all these noises, but they've been hearing whooping sounds.
Oh, yeah.
And the couple said, other than the psychopath outside their tent,
I'm a night sleeper.
Yeah, that was weird.
Their dog didn't react to anything, and you think the dog would react if there was a Bigfoot, hypothetically.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a Norwegian Ridgeback, and they're like very
big dog.
Aggressive and territorial, if I remember correctly.
The dogs?
So, yeah.
Big dog.
Okay, you did read the story. So anyhow, and apparently no more than me. So moving on. So then they're like, okay, this guy's like, I'm going after him. If you hear gunshots,
I'm going after him.
If you hear gunshots, get the heck out of here. Run. He's going after him. And then
Save yourselves.
It said that, I don't recall now, did it say that the wife in the tent did hear like whooping sounds though? The wife in the tent heard whooping sounds or something like that.
From what I remember at the end of the article, they were like, we're not believers. We didn't see anything. I don't know if they
But
heard
we heard something is what they said.
Yeah.
You're in the woods. It could be
Bigfoot's real. Anyhow, so
Conclusion.
The thing that I think is
Conclusion
weird
is-
about this is that at the end they were talking about how they had to walk 5 miles to get back to their car, or to get out of the campsite, or to get out of the woods. It's
Yeah.
like, where are you camping? That there's also other people out there.
Well,
So anyhow, here's
You're
where
going
the
5
I want to
miles.
hear the rest of the story.
the story gets good. So it's almost over.
I wonder
though.
when.
So, no, I'm just kidding. I like glare at you.
Radio silence.
Yeah. So then, the guy goes and he hauls away, going after this Bigfoot. And a little while later, they hear, "There he goes!" and then they hear a gunshot. My favorite is, "There he goes!" Like, you know, can you just imagine?
Some psychopath comes outside your tent.
Right.
There he goes.
And there he goes.
You sure?
It just makes me "there it goes" makes me laugh, because that's what you say when you're rabbit hunting. That's when you say when you're
Bird hunting.
bird hunting of any
flushing.
kind. There he goes.
So funny,
You know,
dude.
so to hear it as like just plugged it right in as far as a Bigfoot
Bigfoot
goes,
creature.
Take him.
and they're just and he shoots. So they come out, they tell their story, they leave because they're scared, right?
Oh, yeah.
So they leave.
Gunshots.
They camp. They're 5 miles out, and then apparently the police reported. The only part of it that they reported that they concluded so far was that there was definitely a gunshot, and that's all that
That's
happened.
it?
So I
No
assume
fur, no
it's
blood.
a government cover up.
He didn't get charged
yeah.
with anything.
Touche.
Which, you know,
Coyote.
I don't know.
He's out there protecting humanity.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, he didn't actually do anything wrong. He might be crazy, but it sounds like he'd be perfectly okay shooting a gun out there.
What's scary is that
self-defense.
you're shooting a
You
gun.
can't. You could just go into the woods and shoot a gun if it's
I think
public
there's.
land.
I don't know about nighttime.
I mean,
I doubt
if
it
you're
at
not,
nighttime.
If you're hunting something that doesn't exist, and you're just shooting a gun.
can
I
say-
think it's for
yeah.
sure okay if your target
This is
shooting.
No. You know what it is? You know what's okay? This is the most messed up thing. I'm not condoning poaching. I'm not nothing. I don't think you should ever do anything wrong or illegal. Check your regulations. Fair chase. Blah 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 blah. That being said,
Having said that,
Looking
said
forward
that,
to this.
so I'm not endorsing this. But if you were to ever get caught, ever by the DNR where you actually are doing something wrong, if you say I was coyote hunting, you're pretty much good. Your small game license, you obviously have. You can use a bazooka in Michigan to hunt. I don't know. Well, maybe not bazooka, but there's no So, like in Michigan for the South Zone, from here down,
Yep.
you can only use a shotgun or a muzzleloader. You cannot use a rifle
Or a bazooka.
for deer. But if you're coyote hunting, you can. Whatever you want.
Yeah,
Wherever
that's
you
true.
are, whatever you want. And you can hunt at night.
Yeah.
And you can do everything. So if you're ever like, it's coyote hunting, as long as there's no dead animal next to you, you're good.
So you got duck decoys out.
we
What do you-
don't.
They bring
don't
in the
recommend
yotes.
this practice though.
No. Again, don't break the law. Don't do anything wrong. I'm just saying that there might be a little bit of loophole that nobody ever talks about.
Yeah.
And that would
Case
be
of
it.
hunting Bigfoots,
I don't think there's a
it
law.
works.
Like if you're on public land though, like up in
I'm
northern
positive
Michigan,
something with night. I don't think you can.
so. If you're not hunting, I don't think there's laws on that.
The problem is, like,
It might be dangerous
I
because
think
you don't
it's-
know what you're shooting at.
I think it's like per situation. The fact is, this guy is in the woods at night
take them.
shooting at humanoid.
what did he see? It's dark out.
Yeah, what is he seeing?
Where was the light?
There he goes.
Light?
Did they drug test him?
I don't know.
Maybe
I
he
told
was
you.
just tripping on
He's having
something.
like a Vietnam flashback.
Charlie.
Charlie. But but no, I think the real issue is that there's a guy at night shooting at animals that are human in shape.
Yeah.
It's an
touche.
issue.
Yeah.
It's a real
That's
big
an issue.
I've joked.
Just that easily, he wants to go out and shoot it.
Yeah.
There is a story on Meat Eater podcast from Steve Ranella. I've been binging those while I've been doing stuff. I've been listening to that while I'm working and stuff. And one of the stories that a friend of his brother was hiking out, and he had a elk. He shot an elk, and he had they have that cool shot where they have the antlers in the backpack and everything like that, and they're walking out. Someone shot him.
Because they thought he was a.
Because they saw the antlers. They shot him
wow.
through
Yeah.
the backpack, thank God. but it went through the backpack, shot at him.
Was he supposed to be wearing
Did he
orange?
die?
He was. I don't know the story on the orange or whatever, but it's just the thing. Steve made the joke too. He's like, "Wouldn't the elk be walking backwards? Because the way you have it in your
That's
backpack."
true.
Yeah.
But the guy just saw antlers and put a shot into the mass below it, and it was a human.
Wow.
It's like-
Did he die?
No, it went just through the backpack
Oh wow.
and both in and out of the back.
I'm sure
sideways,
his
yeah.
back didn't feel good.
Holy.
No, the compression and
Yeah,
and the fear. I can't
It'd
even.
be like
And
someone
the
hit you
force,
in
I'm
the back
sure,
with a
moved
sledgehammer.
the backpack on him.
I think
Yeah.
that would jack you up for hunting in general from then on out. Like you'd
Yeah.
be real nervous.
It's like bulletproof vests. If you get if you're wearing a bulletproof vest and you get shot,
You're messed up.
You're
Yeah,
you survive, but-
you survive, but you're falling on the ground just because you get the wind knocked out of you. You could break ribs really easily.
the bullet doesn't go in the skin, but
Right.
the compression sure does.
What do
Yeah.
you think he yelled?
There he goes.
There we go.
Can you imagine? You're sitting
Oh.
out there 3 days into a hunt, and all of a sudden you see elk antlers, but something doesn't look right. You never get a great view at it, but you see antlers, so it's elk for sure. But it's
Where you going with this?
walking weird. It's walking weird. It's probably sick.
You better
backwards.
I should probably shoot it, even if just to put it out of its misery. Then you shoot and you hear, "Hey,
That's so messed up.
what?"
That is. I
That's
don't.
insane.
Probably should.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't.
There's
go down
stories
that
like every year about like deer hunting, someone doing something like that.
That's true.
road. It is true.
Some I think maybe
Every
we talked about
state.
it on this podcast. Some old lady just jacked someone up, like shooting across the field because they thought it was a deer.
And it hit a person.
Really?
Yeah.
Yikes.
I know.
I remember that. They shot it with a pistol too, and it's like,
Yeah,
you shot a pistol at 200 yards.
it was weird.
and- yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, you gotta have some sense about you. I mean,
Yeah.
the point is too, like Ted Nugent's aim small, miss small. You can't tell me you were aiming small, because if you were, you would have been looking at a zipper on a backpack. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what the hell?
You don't know
Like,
where the vitals are.
Everyone's
you
just
don't know.
body shooting, and I don't know.
That's
it's
terrible.
It's stupid. I like, if I shoot a deer, I'm looking at an individual hair on a deer. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like I'm aiming for that hair. They're just
Bang.
saw antlers and shoot just below them. It's very
That
stupid.
would mean he was aiming for the head then?
The problem too is, like, as much as we joke around about all these stories and stuff, it really gives hunters like a that's the beer gut,
Yep.
beer slugging, flannel
Yep.
wearing, drunk,
And that's
cigar in the
typically
mouth.
that's who it is.
Like being an idiot, like old gross,
Yep.
like cliche that we get.
Yeah.
The people who wear camo in Walmart. How about that?
Didn't I say that in an episode or something?
Yeah, something like that.
What did I say?
You wear mossy oak to Walmart. You're
what
one
I
of
think
those people.
Yeah, and earn that camo.
My dad's like,
But in any community,
Well, it's
there's
true,
going to
though.
be someone. There's going to be crazies. It doesn't
Some
matter
nut.
what it is.
Yeah.
No matter what you believe in, there's going to be some whack job.
And they're the loudest, so that they get
Yeah,
the
they're
attention.
always the loudest. And
what's that supposed to mean? I'm just kidding.
The loud ones get all the attention, usually for the wrong reasons.
Oh. All right, this one's kind of fun. We've been touching on females quite a bit. I think it's just
Oh wow! Not the best way to word that.
in my head it wasn't.
Well, we've been touching on females.
We've been touching
What?
on them a whole bunch lately.
Really?
No.
Explain.
No.
Welcome to the Christian show, the Green Bay Outdoors. No, I didn't mean it like that. We've been talking about
Discussing the topic
discussing
of-
topics of
Nice.
girls, and I think it's because we're a bunch of young strapping lads, and it just makes sense for us to talk about
nature.
girls.
It's nature.
Well, one of the things I was thinking about this is looking for like the ideal girl. Would you want a girl that hunts? Yes or no?
Nope.
No,
Wow.
because
I've already gotten the direction
The
for
next
this.
step is the chewing tobacco. It's just-
Oh, AJ's lumping everyone in. All right, Ryan, why?
My dad's already talked me through this one. Actually, he's like, if you get together with a girl and she likes to hunt, or you get her into hunting and fishing, say if you get hitched and you're married,
Hitched? Your dad said that, didn't he?
no, he didn't say that. I put that in there.
Oh,
improvise.
so you're the gross one. Okay.
So if
You're the issue.
if you get married, when she's taking on the weekends when
Whoa.
she's at home taking care of the kids and you're out hunting, she's going to be pissed because she's not out there with you because she likes doing it too, but she can't because someone has to be home with the kids. So it becomes an issue.
Interesting theory.
That's like
I don't think it's a theory.
I don't think.
Nice.
That's like a real dangerous line too, because saying that you could get attacked
Well,
pretty good.
Why are you out hunting
Why-
while I'm at the kids? Why wouldn't I be out hunting while you watch the kids?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
That
man.
interpretation is what's
Yeah. Again, neither of
And
you are.
there's
doing-
mine- there's
so I'd
my
like to
no
note
as
that I
well.
respect women's rights, and I think that these
can
two
do whatever
monsters
they
are
want.
on their own. AJ, what were your thoughts on it?
It's kind of like I said. I just feel like it's the next step is the chewing tobacco, and then the things
That
that
is so funny.
It's just not.
The
What's
mossy,
ironic
the mossy
though,
oak in
a
Walmart
bunch of
with
girls
the
that I have,
slippers.
a bunch of girls that I've seen at like country concerts that legit hunt, or like girls that I've hunted with, all dipped. And I think you're wrong, but facts of experience would prove that you're right, and that's pretty funny because I've seen that a lot.
Although I swear some of the hottest girls are at country concerts. I'm not kidding.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know. We're good. I mean, our email. It's just, I don't even know.
They're not objects, Ryan.
Yeah. You say.
I have
Anyways,
to be so
maybe I'll go now, you psychos. Go ahead, Jeffrey.
I changed my mind. I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
No, I'm dying to hear what you were going to say.
I would say
On
that
that head.
at country concerts, I would agree. At areas like hunting gatherings, I have yet to see something that strikes my fancy.
Yeah, well, you should just shut up.
Who says
Well
that?
put.
That's the
I
worst
wish I
It's
shit.
no
would've-
wonder nothing strikes your fancy,
I
you
wish I would've
weirdo.
said that.
Yeah, weird. That's why you have no friends. No, I'm just kidding. We all
Get
just attack
out.
them.
Kill 'em.
All right, my thoughts on it were similar to Ryan's, but in a less sexist way. So,
Sexist. If it was the other way around, it's the same thing.
the thing is, you're
If she
using-
got the husband into makeup and doing their nails, but she got to go out every weekend and do makeup and nails.
Wow.
I think you're just digging yourself away.
nice and 50s of you.
So if you're looking to get hitched, ladies, this is your guy. My thought is this. Ideally for me, because this is such a big part of our life, right? So we have,
It's everything.
from now until next December, so not this coming December, the following December, we have 44 trips we'll be going on, hunting and fishing. Okay, so it's a big part of our life. It's what we love to do. It's all those different things. I agree with the fact of, like, not necessarily the way you put it, where if you get hitched, who says that? But if
Anyone
you,
who's cool, idiot.
but let's say you were like dating a girl, and then you took her hunting and fishing quite a bit. She liked it a whole lot, which is great because it's something you can do together. But then when we travel and we're hunting and fishing and we're gone all the time, and she doesn't get to do that, or when you just want to have guy time, like Jeff and I go duck hunting all the time. She's like, well, I want to go. And then all of a sudden, it's not you and your, that's like your guy time. You know what I mean?
Which is almost necessary.
It's very necessary.
Oh, it's so necessary.
Yeah.
So you want your guy time, but the only guy time I really have.
Can we stop saying guy time?
Nope, guy time. What's it? Ryan's slap happy today. Who gave him the energy drink?
I'm so glad I had it too. I was seriously falling asleep in AJ's car. Like I said, because he's so boring.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I get it. Because to me, I think it'd be cool to have but what I don't want is like the girl who's like, oh, I can't even look at the picture of it.
Yeah, that's
oh
true.
my gosh, I can't look at it. I can't look at it. Or like you bring a deer home and you're all excited. Like I want to show like when I lived at my parents' house, I couldn't wait to show my mom and my nieces. I was just so excited to show everybody.
You still do that.
Yeah.
And
when
everyone's excited about it.
Right, when I go there and be like, look at this bear. What the
Yeah.
heck, right?
Yeah.
And but it's just cool. And then when I go to, if you have a girl and you're like trying to show her, like, look at this or look at that. Oh, I can't see it. I can't do it. It's like,
I hate
okay,
that.
that's too far.
Perfect.
So
You also don't get to eat any of it.
yeah, I like or if they had a problem with eating it, that'd be a real big issue for me.
Yeah.
Real big issue. So
More for me.
Yeah.
no, because you sit down at dinner and then. Because if, let's say you did...
is kinda fun to
If you're
share.
picking... Yeah, it's my favorite thing to do. So let's say, how cool is it, fulfilling-wise, if you had a family, if you got hitched, let's say you've got a wife and 2 kids.
I don't understand. What? Let's talk.
Moving on. Wife and 2 kids.
Yeah, the thing you said is stupid.
So you get the wife and 2 kids. Please let me finish this.
Wait, what do you have?
you have a family, you go out hunting, and you get like a deer, and then you come home and you butcher it, and the kids come out and look at it and are all excited about it and stuff, and then you butcher it, you take it inside, you prepare this cool meal, you cook for the family, you all sit down to eat and stuff like that, and the kids see the mom like, oh, I couldn't eat that. It's like, then the kids are like, okay, then it's not normal. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Whereas like Lily and Catherine, my nieces, Lily's favorite food on the planet Earth is goose. Hands down, no question asked. You ask her what her favorite food is, it's goose. If she had a squirrely mom and dad, then
Squirrely.
that's what I call people that don't eat wild game, squirrely. Then you got a problem. You know what I mean? It's because they start to have opinions then, and then they're only eating chicken nuggets and macaroni and cheese with ketchup.
Hey,
Yeah, dude.
that's you. Man.
I grew up eventually.
It's shaped different. I can't eat it.
Yeah.
It's in the shape of dinosaurs.
But I do like dinosaur wounds out of all the chicken nuggets. But the point is, that's kind of my thing, is like I'd want to find someone in the middle that's like supportive, thinks it's real cool, wants to hear your stories, watches the show, will come out and look at it, will eat it, stuff like that, maybe even prepare it. But I think the days of like coming home and being like, Wilma, I got 3 rabbits you need to gut. Get in here. I don't think that exists anymore.
Have you ever met a Wilma?
No.
Have you ever done it though?
What's that?
Hunted with a girl in your days?
Hunted with a girl. I've taken girls
Not fishing.
I've taken girls scouting.
Not Cheyenne.
I've taken girls. I would count Cheyenne because I mean she's a girl. She's definitely a kid, but a girl. Cheyenne from Hotshot Outfitters. I would say that Lily and Kat obviously are little kids, but
Don't count.
Okay.
He's talking.
Are you driving at
like a date?
I feel
Yeah.
like you're pushing for hunting instead of fishing.
Correct.
Okay, then no.
Okay.
Then no. I've seen girls hunt at when we do the managed waterfowl hunts, which is what he was referring to as far as no one finding his fancy. But I've seen girls in those situations, but I've never like gone hunting with a girl. Oh, Ashley, but again, that's a cousin.
No, it doesn't
so
count.
so it's not a date. Yeah, just trying to no dates, no.
Okay.
No. But again, it'd be dangerous because then you're gone 44 trips in a 15-month period,
Yep.
and they can't go on any of them, especially for us for dating, because we can't just have a revolving door of girlfriends. No. Not that we're hoes, but I'm just think
of it.
not doing well today.
We're touching on girls. We're hoes. Wait.
If you're in a band on tour, you're not. You're just the guys traveling from
Exactly.
show to show. It's kind
Exactly.
of like
Sure.
And the whole
I
chemistry.
think you're saying no because you don't want to open that door, and any future women come along that listen to this, you don't have to take.
What?
I feel like you're saying no right now because you don't want to
You're
open that
setting a
door.
standard.
You're setting.
Yeah.
Oh, so I don't have to hunt with girls?
Yeah.
I'm not against
Hey,
hunting
can
with
I
girls.
go hunting with you? Listen to podcast 35. Listen to podcast 35, all right? I made myself clear.
No, if podcast 35 doesn't offend you, then you can come with us.
small ears.
I think we should get off this topic and fast. Okay. It's Shark Week this week.
Is it?
Yeah,
Awesome.
and everyone's going berserk
Seen it all
about
over
it.
Facebook
Really?
from your sister.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she keeps telling everybody how much your niece loves it.
She just likes everything. She was actually, I stopped by there today to change clothes from the gym to come here, and Lily was watching it.
Shark Week?
Yeah, in her room. She's sitting there. She's on a beanbag chair watching it.
Classic.
Cool kid. 7 years old. She's pretty cool. She's obsessed with nature. That's all I did as a kid was nature documentaries. I watched the Kratz.
Creatures.
The what?
Kratz creatures.
Kratz Creatures. Thank you. Yes. I watched Kratz Creatures.
That was a good one.
Jack Hanna, Animal Adventures, all that. That's what I watched. And I remember now, it was an encyclopedia.
Yeah.
It was a bunch of, it's a big box filled with cards that were all about this big. And every one of them had a species, a picture, and a list of facts about it.
That's cool.
I would sit in my room and just read them. Weird kid.
Were you guys young
What a
enough?
weird thing to do.
I don't know how
Yeah,
long the show was around. The Great Big Book of Everything.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No clue.
That must have been when I was when I was a little one.
Yep.
But it was like that. It was like the Great Big Book of Everything, and it would teach you about like all the things around the world, like that. It was pretty cool.
Now I get
as a young kid.
But with that being said, there's a new shark now. Mm-hmm. And
New shark on the block.
New shark on the block. Newly discovered.
Nice.
Love
it.
It's little though. 5.5 inches.
Really?
Yeah, it's a little
5
guy.
inches, a
Teeny
minnow?
tiny.
And
Yeah.
the cool thing
Shark
is,
minnow?
he poops glow in the dark.
No.
Kinda.
Looks like a little whale.
The luminescent.
Is that it?
It's called the
Yeah.
American pocket shark. It was found in the Gulf of Mexico. They saw it while they were trying to determine feeding patterns of sperm whales. And
It's kind of
and they
cute.
found this. It is one of only 2 species of pocket sharks that have ever been found. This is the American. The other one was found off the coast of Chile. And so it's a different ocean, it's a different species, but they're a little teeny tiny shark, and they have little pockets just above their pectoral fins that let out like a glow in the dark ooze.
Like, do they as they're swimming, they just kind of pump out?
Yeah.
This little,
What's the pump?
They said
What's
they're
the,
not sure it's either to see because they're down deep,
Okay.
or it is to attract mates or to attract prey.
You
Which
can-
are
you
the
can see
3
the-
options really
Or
for
it could
why
be a
you would do
defense
that? So they are being pretty fake.
Could be a defense mechanism.
Oh, it looks like
Could be,
a
I
sucker fish
suppose.
almost.
I know, because think about it, like the fish, like bait fish come into the light.
Yeah.
So you
shoot
do-
now.
That top one, he looks pretty tired.
So what's the separation like? What do you
Pocket
guys happen to know what the separation between like just a regular fish and what a shark is?
I don't.
Like what's
Oh, I know a shark is a fish, so I don't know.
well, yeah, but
no
like
bones.
No bones.
Maybe it's the way it's
No
swims.
bones.
No bones.
But I don't know that
Teeth,
one.
scary. I don't.
well, I mean, not all sharks have
Teeth
teeth.
scary. Ryan, why don't you look that one up?
Right now?
Yeah, that'd be a good one to know, actually. What
'Cause
What
ours-
is the difference? What?
Makes a shark a shark.
Yeah.
There you go.
Because there are some sharks
'Cause it's a
that
fish.
don't have sharp teeth. They
Lily,
just kinda
Lily probably knows.
nibble on you.
Should have learned that in my little book.
Yep. Where does that look
Idiots.
at?
Jeff, don't you think it's a little unfair that you ordered 9 pairs of shorts online?
Oh, yeah.
And
So we were talking about this before, and I go, you know what? You know what kind of crap that is? That I just went out and I bought 8 pairs of basketball shorts for working out, and 2 of them didn't have pockets. So I don't get to have pockets, but this little shark gets to have pockets.
he threw his cup at the glass.
thought we were
He
humans.
wasn't being joking.
Wow, this is
You didn't find it, did you?
no.
it's a
I
pretty-
found it, but
We
it's
counted on you.
pretty involved.
It's that extensive answer.
Basically, what Jeff said, cartilage is part of it. 7 gill slits, pectoral fins are
Oh, the
not
gill slits, yeah.
The pectoral fins are not fused to the head, and a lot of other words I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It'd be real fun to like pull those facts together and then see if you could determine based on those facts that like a bluegill's technically a shark. like if you could like pull what the facts are and see if you can find any fish that's a
Find the
loophole
loopholes.
and just go nuts with it in the news. yeah.
The platypus
Be
of
like,
the sharks.
And they're like, no, that's not a shark. Be like, well,
Oh, it
well. Actually, based on the
If
definition.
you'll notice, the pectoral plate isn't fused with the head. So.
And you could do like you
I
could,
digress.
You could do like the face that people make when they're like given the facts. They're like, yeah, actually, here's where you're wrong.
this thing.
Here's where you're wrong.
a daddy long-leg isn't actually a spider because
What
it
is
doesn't
it?
have 8 legs; it has 6.
It's not
So
an
it's-
erratic-
it'd be-
Oh, here we go.
I read somewhere, and then I believe it was a myth busted. I think is Mythbusters did it, maybe not. But anyhow, supposedly there was more venom in a daddy
Supposedly.
long legs than
That's
any
what he
other
said.
any other
I've heard that.
spider.
I think
but
that's
they
accurate.
can't use it or something. But then I read that it wasn't accurate. But then I read that it was.
Snopes.
I've heard that too. And I don't know.
I don't know whether that's
Snopes
true or not.
debunked it. I don't remember
I don't know.
why or how, but
Right? Hey, Jamie,
I'll
will you
look that up
up
again
Yeah,
because
why-
Nice.
I've looked into that. Oh, I'm on 2%. I've looked into this
Oh, you're
also,
Here.
and I feel like I came across the point that it was accurate.
really.
But the
There
teeth
you go.
can't penetrate the skin.
I read a thing, but I'm not sure about it. Well, we read a thing that debunked it, but we're not sure about it either.
How
Radio
poisonous?
silence.
No, it would not be poison. It would be venomous.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
Because
Doesn't know
unless
the difference between poison and venom.
isn't poison where you consume it, so you pick up their poison stuff, and venom is where they bite you, so it gives it to you.
I don't wanna get into
but
this
But
now.
technically, if the daddy longlegs can't bite you, but he's got poison, that would make him poisonous, not venomous.
Touche.
Right?
I
There's
don't
all
know.
kind of
I like it, though.
technicalities.
Ifs.
What'd you find, buddy? He's like, I'm
Okay.
just texting people.
Yep.
A widespread myth holds that daddy longlegs, also known as granddaddy longlegs or harvestmen, are the most venomous spiders in the world.
like that.
We're only safe from their We're only safe from their bite, we are told, because their fangs are too small to break through the human skin.
Okay.
It turns out that the notion is false on both counts. But
They have the longest fangs of any spider.
it's followed by a little clarification is needed, and then it goes into this big article that they want you to read.
But it's false.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, it's false. Daddy long legs are not the most poisonous.
Okay. So, in other news, my favorite bird to see when I'm up north, besides a mallard while duck hunting, or a wood duck while duck hunting, is a loon. Coolest birds, they make the coolest sounds. Now, this is something that I never really thought would affect them. There is a report out of what state?
Minnesota,
I think it was Minnesota. Basically, there was 2 loons found dead at a specific lake, which is a little abnormal. Normally on lakes, you'll see like 1 to 4 loons, at least in Michigan. That's been my experience. That's not a factual thing. It's just like normally I see 1 or 2 per lake, and that's about it. So when they find 2 dead at one lake, it causes them to do some research. Now, when they researched, this is what they found out. They both died of West Nile virus, which because mosquitoes get them too. And I thought that was pretty interesting. And that's they watch loons carefully. They're a pretty heavily protected bird, I believe.
Yeah.
People like them. So
They're a mascot.
yeah, they were killed by West Nile virus. I know, isn't that cute as hell?
That's so cute.
Yeah. But yeah, they were killed by West Nile, so they can contract it too, and different birds and stuff like that do. A lot of them have a pretty good resistance, but loons, crows, and a few other birds were extra susceptible to the possibility of that.
I remember when like there was a craze of humans getting them, but I didn't know that animals could.
Yeah.
What's like, is there any resolution to this, or is it just
No.
kind of like they die,
Like,
they die?
There's nothing they can do.
If anything, it was a
to treat
relief
it.
for them because it's like it was a
it's
relief.
just that.
Okay, it's
Well,
West
they
Nile.
had been
Nothing we can do
finding-
about that. But if there was something we could do, that would be real bad.
Yeah, they had found a lot of them already dead. They'd found a lot dead,
Okay.
but they had decomposed, so they couldn't tell what had killed them until they finally found 2 that they were able to see
Pretty
oh, it's
fresh.
West Nile virus. So.
It was like a couple years ago in Michigan, the blue tongue going around killing off all the deer.
Blue tongue, I don't know that one.
It was like,
I remember you talking about that.
yeah,
I didn't listen.
it was, I don't know how many years, it was like 5, 6, 7 years ago, where there was like a real heavy die off of deer.
Good
from
memory.
this-
What were you, 9? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, 12.
There was a big kill off though.
Yeah, there was a big kill off, and so our family has a farm down in Jackson, and I think it was my grandfather or somebody was saying that like one farmer went around and found like just an insane amount of dead deer around the water, around like they'd go to water and die there, I guess.
Really?
Oh.
I wish I knew more about it, but he counted like just like it was like 60 or it was just an insane number of dead deer.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Very sad. Very sad. Hate to see that.
But that's
Was
that's all
blue
gone
tongue
now.
the thing that
Nature.
they had? Is that
Yeah, that was like there was like another name for it, like a more like it had a couple nicknames.
is that EHD?
I don't know.
I have no idea. I'm not in this.
I think it's HIV.
LMNOP.
That was actually good, Ryan. I like that one. When we come back, we're going to go to commercial right now, but when we come back, we're going to be talking about 2 illegal situations where people had their hunting licenses revoked. One makes a whole lot of sense, and the other one doesn't. Stay tuned. You're a hunter, and because you hunt, you're the world's greatest conservationist. You're a huntervationist. You do more for wildlife and conservation than anyone. The Sportsman Alliance protects hunters from the animal rights movement. When the Sportsman Alliance gets involved in court cases or legislation, hunters win. Conservation wins. Become a huntervationist today and join the Sportsman Alliance like we did to help protect your rights against the animal rights movement.
Hotshot Outfitters in Port Hope, Michigan is the destination for whitetail deer, crow, waterfowl, rabbit, predator, and turkey hunts. We have cabins, over 30,000 non-fenced acres, and a passion for delivering fair chase hunts to you and your family. Reserve your hunt at hotshotoutfitters.com today.
When your hands are busy, your mind gets right. When your hands are busy, you can't point fingers and complain that life isn't fair. When your hands are busy, you're serving your family, your friends, and your community. When your hands are busy, you show everyone what you're capable of. The all-new Ram 1500, Motor Trend's 2019 Truck of the Year.
Hello and welcome back to episode 35 of the Greenway Outdoors podcast. Okay, so at first glance at this next story, I was like, come on. Mm-hmm. But as I read it and went through it, laws are laws. But anyhow, this guy in Wyoming got in trouble because he went out and he was illegally antler shed hunting in
Wyoming?
Yes, in Wyoming. And basically, he was going out on public land during the winter when it's closed to antler hunting. But I didn't realize it was closed to antler hunting. I don't know 100% what the science is, why they don't want you doing that. But I think they try and keep people off the public land to keep the stressors off of the animals. Because if you're out there, they already went through hunting season, went through mating season. A lot of people know that right after mating season, going into the winter is when bucks are their weakest because they just stopped eating for the last few months just to chase tail. Mm-hmm. They've dwindled down really bad, and now they're just got to survive the winter. And then somebody goes in there and starts pressuring them and stuff.
Jumping on their back, trying to rip the antlers off their head.
Yeah, no, that's not what getting antlers is. But people going out and moving around on the properties, the public land, it causes the animals to react and stresses them and so on and so forth.
It all makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's one of the many reasons. I'm sure there's reasons of like people going out there and be like, oh, I wasn't hunting, I was just shooting, or I was just doing this or doing that, and they hard to
No bordering out there.
I was just hunting coyotes.
What was his punishment?
Was it 15 grand?
Something like that.
Yeah,
it was pretty
substantial.
surprising, I think.
Yeah. So I believe it was 15K.
Wow.
I could be wrong.
Was he like
But anyhow, he had his hunting privileges revoked for 3 years.
Okay, yeah, that's the one.
I feel like that's the punishment.
Yeah, that would. I would hate that punishment a lot more than the money.
Yeah, so he got a
big hit.
And then they confiscated. He had 106 pounds of antler, which I was thinking about that. Antlers are pretty heavy.
Are they heavy?
Yeah.
When they're just dense like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're big. I mean, they're not small antlers. So I was kind of thinking about that. I was like, that's not that many. But
I feel like if it was just like one or two sets, though, they would just say that. But instead, they said 104 pounds. Or
That makes it sound like more.
sets
Did he cut it up already?
I think
or-
no. I just think they used the biggest number that they could.
Yeah.
Whatever would make it seem like
shock
the most.
value?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a news
Buzzwords.
article.
I guess it makes sense because at first when I read it, I'm like, wow, 104 pounds. I guess they got pretty big antlers.
Although when you think about picking up a 45-pound plate at the gym, that's like a heavy thing still.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you probably need at least 2 fingers to lift it. You know what I mean? I'm just kidding.
This guy.
But the point is, like, I guess that would be quite a few antlers too. I mean, they're not super heavy, but they're not super light either. I just don't think it's that much compared to what it is. But it's illegal. But he pleaded guilty to it, and he was using them. And this is why they may have used pounds as well, as they were cutting them up. A lot of people sell them for like decor for houses and stuff like that, and you make furniture out of them,
Chandeliers.
things of that sort.
Wow.
Oh, my man was cutting them up and using them as chew toys. Not for him, for selling them for dogs.
Like
so he
for
was
chewing on a bone.
I love that.
Yeah.
Not for him.
Not for him. What were you gonna say,
funny.
Ryan?
I just looked it up. A large set of antlers can weigh up to 40 pounds.
That's what I mean. It's
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
he had like 2 antlers, in the, 2 sets of antlers, but we don't know how many he had and how big they were, and it just is what it is. And then I got to thinking about, I have zero interest in antler shed hunting, zero, unless it was on my own property.
Yeah.
With deer that I've been hunting all year, and then I got the drops from that one that I named. That's cool, but people get so into antler shed hunting. Maybe it's just
didn't know it was
me.
a thing.
I got no interest.
Have you ever used them to like rattle for a buck? Because I haven't. So I don't. That to me is the only.
No, I use the ones I bought for
Motivation.
$22 to do that. That
Yeah,
are
that's
fake,
true.
that don't break down, that are waterproof, that are not going to deteriorate, that have no issues, that line up perfectly. I don't know.
That's the only motivation I'd see for doing it. I don't.
My dad took antlers, possibly one that he harvested though, and he was making leave it to him. He's making a horn out of it for his gunpowder. So you fill it with gunpowder, and he was howling it out, so it'd be the perfect measurement that he could pour the gunpowder into his
One
time.
his
That's
musket
amazing.
from the 1800s that he uses to. I'm not even kidding.
believe it.
Yeah, the
won't
muzzle
doubt you.
loader to hunt. He thinks. I guess it's kind of cool, but
Yeah.
he wants to make it out of an antler point, and he's a regular Jeremiah Johnson, so it's kind of funny. But that's like a neat thing. But I don't know. I get it. I think that stuff's cool. But I just assume.
Do you think he hums Davy Crockett while he's doing it?
I'll ask my mom.
Have you ever seen the antler pile that I think it's Sarah Palin's dad has? Like because they used to have
It's like a 2-story house size or something.
Seriously, it's giant because they've trained the dogs to hunt antlers.
So the dogs just
will
go out.
Yeah, they'll just go run and find antlers and bring them back. They have this
Really?
pile that is just massive.
Now that I get into, but when you think about it, they're just really big fingernails everywhere.
Kinda.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. That had velvet on them at one point. It's even grosser. No, I do think the dog thing's cool. I mean,
Yeah.
if I had dogs that could you train them and go do it, that's pretty neat.
If they have, it's kind of cool. You just come back and then they got
Oh, you
a set
got
of antlers.
something.
If you're
Oh
walking
God, he's got a deer attached to it. It's alive. It's alive. It's right. Another story. This one is a little bit different. So there's 3 young people, 18 to 20 years old, I believe is what they were. 3 young guys, and they went hunting near Yellowstone National Park. They were hunting for mountain lions. Now they were running dogs, and as you know, running dogs can be a little bit difficult as far as like when the dogs are traveling, where they're going, everything else. They're going after the lion. They're going after the lion. They don't know boundaries, so you really got to watch those things. So these guys had a GPS, and apparently they were chasing. I almost have to get to the punchline in order to go back to the story of what they said happened versus the reality of what was found. They were chasing a mountain lion. Long story short is they shot a mountain lion and then posted on about social media, Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And while doing that, they had in their backdrop a big canyon that is very distinctly it's a very big landmark on Yellowstone National Park. Just on the other side of the border. Not too far in, I would think.
It's like Clara Ravine,
Yeah, click clear.
Ah, it was a green screen.
Back to the Future, thank you. So,
That's not good.
no, so they posted all about it. Somebody saw said post and tipped off the police about it.
Oh, they couldn't wait too.
Yeah.
As soon as they figured it out.
Yeah, they lined it up. They got
man.
Google Maps out. They're like, these guys are dead.
They were so
According to my calculations.
Yeah. So they tip him off. They start doing some research and stuff, and they determine they end up start questioning him and everything like that. And the stories from the 3 kids was vastly different between the 3 of them.
They didn't even have their
One of
story
them
straight.
said the screen that they had the GPS, and they're saying, well, the GPS malfunctioned, and they all agreed on that, but didn't know. So they were a little confused on where the lines were. They thought they were good. They started on huntable land.
Okay.
And that the cat was just on the other side. The GPS went dark. One of them said that the screen went purple. One of them said the screen went black. One of them said the screen went white, which I think in a situation where they're being pressured by the cops a while after this happened, I'd be like, oh, the screen went black when it could have been a purple color, or the screen just went, it died, or the went white. You know what I mean? So that, I think
that one's a little,
you put an 18-year-old kid in front of cops that are like, you understand the severity of what's going, so it's probably scared the crap out of them. Not defending them, I'm just saying that they put that in the article that was the big tip-off. I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
So
You got it.
Was this picture we're looking at? Is that the background that they had?
that's
Or
in
is this
Yellowstone.
just a shot of National
That's just a
Park?
shot of the
in
National Park.
Yellowstone.
Also, you got to
That's
talk to the
really
mic because it's a podcast.
That's really cool.
But I got him. But yeah, there's that was that's just a picture of Yellowstone there. So anyhow, now they're being questioned. They're going through it, and the cops aren't going to let this go. They determine that based on where he said they shot it versus where he filed for the kill was at least 2.5 miles away from where the kill site was for sure. So that tells the cops that if you thought you were still on huntable land, then why did you lie about where the kill site was? Because they had the kill site there, and then they said that they skinned it out and took the meat and the skull, but then they were saying like there was arguments over whether the carcass was left like there was all kind of stories that all just crossed. Nobody was saying the same things.
And they'll figure it out too eventually.
Yeah, and so what they figured out was, and this is where it gets a little jacked. They have the dogs tree the lion. Mm-hmm. They shoot it. Arguments over who shot it. Everyone said somebody else shot it.
They couldn't decide on who shot the lion.
Yeah, the three. Yeah, they're just blaming each other. Then someone climbed up the tree to flush the cat out so that the dogs could tree it again. And then shoot it again. Once they got him out of the second tree from shooting him again, they shot him more, and that's when it died. It's a total of 8 shots. Total of 8 shots in the cat. That's where it died. So obviously their marksmanship is far from good. Why anyone would climb a tree as opposed to just putting the cat out of its misery? That's where reading the story. I'm never okay with poaching. I'm never okay with doing anything illegally, but I could understand that you got a little confused on a map and ended up a little bit somewhere where you shouldn't.
Human error is real.
Sure. So up until that, I was like, could be human error. Once you start flushing cats out of a tree to reshoot it, and there's 8 shots in it.
That's a little weird.
Something you're not an ethical person.
I could even get like if you were like, oh well, I know it was illegal, but the cat was suffering, and I didn't want it to suffer because I did something wrong, so I followed it and put it out.
From
of
what
its
I read, they all agreed that someone climbed the tree just to keep the hunt going. It's jacked
not
up.
What happened here?
It's quite the fugazi.
I was going to ask you. I wonder if there's some sort of
my memory's getting good. I just did that whole thing. Nice. I got no notes here. Look at me. Go ahead.
With like Yellowstone, something like that, and you're hunting just on the other side of it. Say the animal does run into the park. Would you be able to go to like the DNR and like if you were able to like pinpoint where like the blood started? Would you how does that work? Like you don't want a wounded animal just run like that's terrible. Obviously these guys seem to be freaks.
I didn't get I don't recall, but I didn't get the idea that he was ever shot on huntable property.
Oh, but they were trying to play it off like
right. I think from the beginning that cat was being hunted on right on the edge of the property. So I don't think it would have only been the first shots that he was on huntable property, but right. I don't know.
I wouldn't mess around with something like that.
If you shot a mountain lion out of a tree and it stayed in said tree, you can keep shooting the lion until it's dead.
Yep.
Any kind of ethical shooting, any kind of smart shooting, any kind of caliber of gun with a bow.
Yeah.
I don't understand. So I guess it seems to me like they're either real bad or they're assholes. But it's one of those two.
I mean, it is one of the two. Really.
Or
it's both.
Or the third is the story's not right.
Yeah, they could be playing up the story, just like with the story we were just talking about, where they're using the altered numbers.
Yeah. So you got to be a little careful on that too. They were sentenced.
Oh, they were?
Yeah. Through the whole process, 3 years of probation, but it's what's the word?
Yeah.
Not unguided, unsupervised.
Yeah.
Unsupervised probation is the word I was looking for.
You don't have an officer.
So you just can't get in trouble again.
3 years loss of hunting privileges, and each kid had to pay $1,700.
That's it?
$1,700, and all 3 had to pay it, and all 3 had the same sentence.
The one guy took antlers and he got fined $15,000. These guys.
That's because he's like reselling stuff, though.
Oh,
yeah.
For an 18-year-old, that's a hefty fine.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know.
How
if you're
can they
balling.
even pay it if you're balling? What?
Not if you're making money.
Yeah, I guess. not a lot of 19-year-old creative producers. I like that sweater.
Hey, you know what? There was a 16-year-old kid who just won $3 million for playing. Was it Fortnite? They had some championship and he won $3 million as a 16-year-old kid for playing video games.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's stuff all over the internet. The parents are like, "Hey, put down your homework and you go play Fortnite right now."
Oh yeah, all the memes. Yeah.
They interviewed him afterwards.
Holy cow.
And they're like, well, what are you going to do with all this money? He's like, I might buy a new desk. That's what he said.
That's insane.
Well, he's like, I don't know what's gonna. I don't know. We'll see what's left for me when I'm 18, when my parents are done with it. I don't know. They're looking at campers in a lake house. I don't know what's gonna be left.
I guess I'll probably go to school.
There you go. Put in the fund.
Man, $3 million. If you, let's say he cleared that, because I doubt he did, but let's say he cleared $3 million. If you can get some sort of super low investment risk, like some sort of bank or some sort of mutual fund, where you can get maybe 4 or 5% interest on that a year, you're gonna clear like
gold.
$150K a year, and then you never have to work a day in your life if you're just careful and always live below your means, and then you can just hunt and fish all the time. Man, I would love if my job was hunting and fishing. Oh wait.
Well, they both.
Kind of back to the story though with the mountain lion. Why would you? Which obviously it sounds like they were on the Yellowstone the entire time, but
No, I wouldn't want to say that. Through the whole of the killing of the lion, I believe they were on Yellowstone the whole time.
even if they started hunting outside, I feel like I would just be uncomfortable with how close I was to Yellowstone, especially hunting a cat that you know is going to run.
And that's where the officer was just laying into him. He's like, you got to know where the boundaries are. And they should know where the boundaries are. You should stay the hell away from there.
As soon as you're not sure. Okay. Well,
But I'm also pretty sure that, like, so you could see one getting in a situation where you've been hunting all day and you see nothing, and then there's one right by the line. And you're like, well, if we try and push them this way, and then all of a sudden...
I'll climb the tree.
Yeah. I don't think that's what happened. I think they made some poor decisions, and I think that the whole thing that really upsets me is the fact that there's 8 holes in the cat. And why is that? And why are they agreeing that someone's knocking out of a tree? Like, who even does that?
I'm not buying the blackout of the GPS part of the story.
No?
No.
I think
they're
could have been
using
like
technology as a way to...
it could have been this. Oh,
could have
guys, we're
happened.
about to cross the line. We'll just say it blacked out.
Ryan, what risks do you think Onyx has being blamed for bad situations happening due to their app? Let's say you're using Onyx, and that's how you're determining whether you're on public or private property.
It's a GPS app.
Onyx is wrong.
It could be.
And thank you, Jeffrey. Good point. And Onyx is wrong, and then you get in trouble or fined or something happens, or you shoot something you're not supposed to because of where you are, but you're like, look, it says right here. Are they to blame at all? Or is it strictly still the hunter? And, like, where does that argument lie? Don't get me wrong. I think Onyx is super accurate, probably more accurate than you could be without, like, trying to be genuinely honest. Onyx is probably more accurate than you, but what if it was wrong? Would they have any risk?
I'm sure there's a
dealing with that?
disclaimer.
I'm sure it's in
when
their
you first
terms of
download
service.
it, or every time you use it, or something.
But if it wasn't in there, I don't think they should be in trouble, because it's up to you to look at a map, seriously understand the layout of the land,
And then use Onyx.
and don't even risk getting that close to something that you would get that much in that much trouble.
Very good point, Ryan.
Like,
Right.
go somewhere where you know you're not going to cross any boundaries.
Right.
Because, I mean, we grouse and woodcock hunt all the time. We go places where it's not going to be like that. We're not going to end up in someone's backyard and then shoot through their windows.
Right.
So,
Right.
I mean,
Unless it's a big grouse and it's banded.
yeah. and you got to climb the tree and,
Well, I think that concludes this week's podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Green Outdoors podcast. I hope you enjoyed these stories. If you're listening to us on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, however you might be listening to us, you can also watch us and see our ugly faces and all the references to all the pictures that we're talking about during the show. You can do that live every single week at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursdays through NRM Streamcast. It's an app. It's on all of the Roku, Amazon Fire Sticks, stuff like that, through Lighthouse. You can also find NRM Streamcast in the iStore. You can find it on Google Play. You can download it there and watch it live every week. Again, Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or If you want to watch it on demand or watch all of our old library of all of our episodes, there's 34 ones before this one, you can go to our YouTube channel, The Greenway Outdoors. Also, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'd love to hear from you on episodes and topics you'd like to talk about, hear us talk about, or even episodes you'd like to see on our television show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay green.
Bye-bye.